Luck has finally run out for a longtime fugitive. The U.S. Marshal spent 19 years trying to track down Leslie Lucky Johnson. Tonight, he's in custody. News Channel 5's Curtis Jackson joins us live from our newsroom with the story.
Danita, he was, forgive the pun, one of the longest running fugitives in Cleveland, but Lucky ain't so lucky anymore.
This guy's been on the run 19 years, okay? This is not a common thing to have someone on the run that long.
There may not have been a more fortunate fugitive in the history of Cleveland. Leslie Lucky Johnson was always a step ahead of U.S. Marshals.
We've tracked the guy over the 19 years all over the country, from Chicago to Florida to Baltimore. We know he's been in the Pittsburgh area over the last few years.
Johnson's life on the lam started in 1991. He was convicted of conspiracy to distribute cocaine in Cleveland and was about to serve 5 years in prison when he disappeared. In all that time, he stayed under the radar by, ironically, staying out of trouble. U.S. Marshals were finally able to close in on him in Pittsburgh through good old-fashioned police work.
One of our marshals here took a personal interest in it and really dug into it, and he's been working it for a few years now. And he did a great job really just digging a little bit here, a little bit there, and finally that right break came along.
After 3 days of surveillance, Johnson's luck ran out when the Marshals Fugitive Task Force caught him at an Applebee's outside Pittsburgh. His last meal as a free man.
We expected some denial, but he fully admitted who he was, and they said he was constantly saying how relieved he was, that he was no longer having to look over his shoulder, that it was over.
So what has Lucky Johnson been doing for the last generation or so, besides looking over his shoulder? The U.S. Marshal's Office says those details will come out later after Johnson is extradited back to Cleveland. In the newsroom, Curtis Jackson, News Channel 5.
Curtis, I think it's interesting that he said that he is relieved that he's finally captured and he can stop looking over his shoulder now.
A lot of them say that.
I thought so. All right, thank you very much, Curtis.